We got some more Arrow stuff here to talk about today. I'm going to start off with the, I guess you could say 4-disc, 2 Blu-ray, 2 DVD box set of Black Cats. This features, of course, Your Vice is a Locked Room, and Only I Have the Key, as well as The Black Cat by Lucio Fulci. This is limited to 3,000. One of them really cool Arrow box sets that keep on releasing. And I'll show you here a little bit of the inside of it. You get the big slip case, which is always good. You get a little booklet at the glare here, Will. Quit glaring. With a bunch of cool stuff inside it. I always get a little torn about reading the books because I don't want to bend the pages, so I rarely even read the books. It comes in them, but nonetheless, they're there. Get these out of the box so I can get them out of the box. Hear that? Stuck. Stuck's good, because it means it's not going to be flying around everywhere. But let me put that back in there. First of all, we'll start with Lucio Fulci's The Black Cat. As you can see, there's a weird issue here with the shrink wrapping on this, or whatever you want to call it. It's all bubbly, but this is a pretty neat little take on Edgar Allan Poe's Black Cat. You basically have a guy that is controlling the Black Cat to do his evil work for him. Probably not my favorite Fulci movie, but still, even average Fulci is still just about as good, if not better, than most other people. There's a sleeve here with the original artwork. That's what I'm assuming is the original artwork. Put that back in there. Like I said, the movie it's not really as gory as other Fulci stuff, but it's still really good, I thought, or at least good enough. And it was entertaining. I mean, it's like I said, it's got some actors you'll recognize in there. The lead guy was from Clockwork Orange. I'm bad on names, so I'm not going to try to name the dude, but he's in it. And of course, the other one, which is probably the star of this set here, is loosely based on Edgar Allan Poe's classic Black Cat. Your Vice is a Locked Room, and Only I Have the Key, from Sergio Martino, the guy who brought us Torso. This one's pretty neat. There's this couple, and people are dying, and there's a Black Cat involved, a one-eyed Black Cat, and people are dying, and you think it's going to go one way, and then by the time it wraps up, it kind of goes somewhere else. I thought that was a neat little twist. Of course, these are all Blu-ray DVD, as I probably already said, which is good. Got a little card here. And I've not heard, but I guess Bloodfest is, or Blood Feast, or whatever it is on the way. The slip inside here. I'm going to try to take it all the way out, but as you can see, that's the original artwork. Most of the time, I go with the new commissioned artwork, just because I kind of like it. But I'm about to break that rule right here with the next one we're talking about still. This was limited 3,000. Looks really cool. And they're good movies. I think Your Vice is definitely the better of the two. But you can't beat the set. A good sturdy slipcase too. I like that. As I find a place to set this where it won't break. Alright, here's one that everybody was waiting for a long time. Blood Rage. And this is a 3-disc set. Comes with a nice little slipcase. Now this movie here is one that ever since I started the website, I was wanting somebody to release it. I wanted Synapse to do it. I wanted Screen Factory when they started to do it. And it just seemed like it took longer and longer, and nobody seemed like they were going to come out with it. Then, when the Arrow, cool little slipcase here, announced that they were going to release it, I got really excited, because then it got delayed, and then announced it's going to be 3 discs. So it's 3 discs. It's got 3 cuts of the film. We got the kind of the edited one, the Nightmare at Shallow Woods, whatever it's called, one, and then Shadow Woods. And then you've got the Blood Rage one, which has the gore in it, and then like a hybrid cut of the two. This is the 3-disc, director's approved, limited edition one. 3 versions of the film: Blood Rage, the original home video version; Nightmare at Shadow Woods, the theatrical recut; an alternative composite cut, combined footage from both versions. original stereo 2.0 sound, uncompressed on Blu-ray, optional English subtitles. Then the next one is the Blu-ray plus 1 DVD Blood Rage, brand new 2K restoration, hard home video version. Limited edition exclusive. That's a slipcase. Now, some people had problems with this because the DVD is actually region 2 locked, but that, I don't know. That doesn't really bother me because I don't really usually watch the DVD because all the good stuff's on the Blu-ray anyway. If I can get this not to glare. That's the first one. You can see I got another Blood Feast thing there. There's these. Get a good look at those. And you'll notice that I actually use the you can say the original artwork there, Blood Rage artwork, on the front because that is just great. And you know, like I said, I'm usually all for the new commission stuff, but there's just something about this that I didn't think it looked that good for some reason. And because I didn't care for it, I didn't use that. I went with the other. But if I don't tear it up, slide it back in. It's really a good set to have. And like I said, the movie it's a hit and miss movie. There's not a lot. I got friends that like it. I got friends that don't like it. I always was quite fond of it. The first time I ever seen the movie was back when we were regularly doing the Zombies Don't podcast thing, and a listener sent in a bunch of stuff. I still didn't get there. A bunch of stuff, and this was one of them. And I think it might have even been like the edited version, but I liked it enough that I really wanted to see more of it. I wanted to see a better transfer of it. And I realized pretty quick the DVD of it was kind of hard to come by at that point. So I kept waiting for the Blu-ray, and it finally came. And I think it looks good. I think the slasher, aka Blood Rage version, looks a lot better. But if you're not familiar with the story, it's this mother is on a date at the drive-in, and her twin boys kind of get out into some mischief while she's making out with their date. One of the brothers kills somebody, and then they blame it on the other one, so the other one goes to the crazy house for years. And it's Thanksgiving, so now he's escaped. And it's Thanksgiving, and that gives the other brother a great time to go on another rage, or everybody assumes it's the crazy brother doing it. Now, a lot of people don't like it, but it's one of those maybe acquired tastes of a horror film, but I'm quite fond of it. And I love slashers anyway. Good slashers, bad slashers are kind of like all good slashers in some ways to me. So because of that, I really like that. And look at that. That is a cool slipcase. The one thing I can tell is this is the only second release from the Arrow USA branch, I think, that actually has the slipcase. This and Contamination is the other one. But now that is, if you get one thing out of all these that I'm talking about, this should be the one that you do get. I think I like it. A lot of people don't. Over the top acting, really good effects, good story, but somewhat maybe a bad delivery on some ends. And here we have, now pardon me as I try to pronounce this, Requisite. I don't know, more spaghetti western goodness, and this movie opens up with probably the biggest double cross in movie history, ladies and gentlemen. We got the booklet in here. We got the Blu-ray. We got the DVD. And of course, there is the other art, which is actually pretty good, if I do say so myself. But I kept the newly commissioned side there. So basically, there's our lead guy. We open up and he's a kid, and it's like the biggest double cross ever. These people think that these guys are making peace with them. It's a setup, which you can see coming a mile away. He's basically the only one left standing after the setup. So he's taken in by a family and raised as their own. And when they get a certain age, the sister, which the sort of a sister, their daughter, decides to go off and do things her own way. So he goes after the finder, and she's being basically a prostitute at the time at a bar, like it was back in the old days, and leads him into some trouble with the bad guys. It starts off really strong, kind of ends a little weak, because I think somewhere near the third act, the film kind of loses its way a little bit. When it was just what it was, I thought it was good. It was kind of like a Western revenge flick in some ways, in some parts, but It kind of loses its way near the end, but still, it's good enough. And that's Requisite. I don't know. It's one or the other. I assume it's one or the other. Next on the list, and this is a little bit of a toughie for me. This was The Tenderness of Wolves, or Tenderness of the Wolves. Very cool art. Very good acted film. It's just not really my sort of thing. Based, off the Vampire of Hanover. It was a German serial killer responsible for murders of 24 boys and young men during the so-called years of crisis. So it's basically a retelling of a true story with a nice little horror twist. You got this guy who he looks like Nosferatu. He kind of does in the movie as well. He's bald. He's a bad guy. He's got friends that are cannibals, and it gets a little uncomfortable as we watch him do his thing, especially when it comes to like the young kids, the young boys section of it. Like it's well made. It looks good. Like all these look good, by the way. Well, the weakest one that's coming up next, the weakest transfer. But as far as this all looks good. And this movie is just kind of like a, I don't know. I kind of wanted something a little bit more horror, and it's kind of dragged out a little bit, And it gets a little weird with some of the kids stuff and all that. So it really wasn't my cup of tea. Not that it's a bad movie. Just it wasn't really something that I care for that much. But there's that. And still, worth a watch, and especially for the cover. Look at it, looks good. Well acted, just not my sort of thing. So the last Arrow title we have is Carlo Lazzani's Wake Up and Kill, aka Wake Up and Die. This is like the latest one I've got here. Kind of a Bonnie and Clyde situation. This guy and this girl go on the run, and he's committing crimes, and he becomes like this legendary person through the media for doing it, and he gets stuff blamed on him that he didn't do, and there's this detective that's hot on his trail, and it kind of drags on. It gets pretty exploitation style Italian in the middle, but it's good. It's like if you're into like more crime type stuff, it's a good watch. And the transfer though is a little rough, I think, in patches. There's a lot of debris, a lot of grain, and especially in the darker scenes. But overall, like I said, it's like Bonnie and Clyde for a good portion of it, and kind of has an open-ending end that some of you may prefer or not prefer. I thought it was all right. It's like I said, I'm more into the horror stuff, but I'll watch and review anything, especially with an Arrow title on it, which leads me to believe, a lot of people think maybe I should do some Scream Factory stuff. Maybe I should in the future. But right now I'm still doing these Arrow things, and if you want more of a detailed review, I do have written reviews for each of these. It's on zombiesdon'trun.net with the ratings and whatnot for the transfers and a whole list of the extras, which I probably should have went through here, but if I did, this would be like a 30-minute video. But it's all on there. I just mostly do these just so you can get a good look at them and give you kind of like a brief opinion on them. So if we're recapping, Wake Up and Kill is a pretty decent film, crime film. Bonnie and Clyde-ish, with a detective chasing a guy that's kind of made a hero by public. The Tenderness of the Wolves, a little bit too pedophile-ish, I guess you could say, for my taste, but a retelling of a real-life killer, so that's that. Requisite, kind of a western revenge, spaghetti western thing that starts off really, really strong, ends a little bit weaker than it starts, but still good enough for me. Blood Rage, the biggest acquired taste out of the bunch, but I love it and I'm quite fond of it, so I definitely recommend that. And we cap it off with the big box set, the 2-movie Black Cat box set, which any release Arrow does in a box set I would get. I plan to get the was that Battle Without Honor and Humanity set, which unfortunately isn't going to reviewers, or not all of us. I have checklists for those, but I don't actually have the real thing, so I'm going to try to come across the real thing after I do with those. But that's the Arrow update. Better late than never. And stick around because we got some more stuff coming this week.